What's up, YouTubers? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Natureboichuck, and we're going to deep dive into an absolute freaking grail. Yes, the Kevin Durant 4 Weathermans. Ooh, man, this shoe was a must-have in 2011, but it doesn't really seem that way in 2024. Why? All I have to say is, you youngins out there do not know what a freaking grill is. Disrespecting a freaking legend. Let's look at it next. And look, no pun intended, I'm not hating on the younger generation or anything like that. I still consider myself a young person. I'm in my 30s. That probably doesn't count. But anyway, I feel young, but this shoe right here changed the game when it came out. This Kevin Durant 4 sneaker Weatherman was a absolute grail. It was a must-have, and it was an extremely sought after shoe. But today, why was it a grail? Why was this shoe so sought after? First, we're going to talk about, of course, the design of the shoe. Next is going to be the story of this particular shoe because it has so many awesome details. And last but not least, is it still considered a grail or not? Is Nike messing up with these remakes coming back out of the shoes that were considered the premium peaks of the highest mountain of sneakers? I don't know, but I'll let you guys decide. Breaking down the design of this phenomenal shoe. Now I'll tell you this shoe is broke down into a skeleton type form. And what I mean by that, you're going to have the skeleton inlays right on the inside of the shoe itself, giving you a hollow texture on the inside of the shoe. I should say the bones of the shoe itself. You're going to have a mesh overlay that actually runs all the way up through the inside materials of the shoe here. And on the front, you're going to have this almost plastic type soft touch feeling texture right here on that material. I have no idea what it is, but I think it's made in the hyperphase type outlay for us what Nike has. The bottom portion of the shoe itself is built into the Nike Zoom overlay, in which that was formulated for great breaking and comfort and elusive design by Nike for on-court purposes, as i.e. Kevin Durant being, you know, who he was with this particular shoe. But the structure and the design is amazing. Of course, you can't miss what you have for as the Doppler radar freaking look all the way around the shoe, the back half portion. And even towards the inside, you're going to get the Doppler radar type look of this shoe, which is absolutely awesome. Now, of course, we'll get to the story portion of the Doppler radar, but right in the inside, you're going to have the sun and the cloud being in there too. Don't know if you guys can see it, but I'll try to see if you can. But that sun and that cloud being in there with the thunder strike also. On this particular shoe, the tongue is going to have 35, which is Kevin Durant's number when he was at Oklahoma City Thunder, of course. And no direct correlation, I would think, to that. But right on the strap, you're going to have this elusive long strap that wraps around the front top portion of the foot, which is different from most straps on most shoes coming out around in that time. They were on the lower front toe box of the shoe and they wrapped around. But right in the inside, you're going to see adaptive fit. And it has almost like a stretchy type way where you can pull this across and strap it. But as far as comfort when you're hooping in this shoe, I would say that strap is great for the top portion of your foot, freeing up the lower portion to you be able to be a little bit more quick, a little bit more elusive, and have some movement without hurting your feet itself. Wrapping around the back, you're going to have Kevin Durant, of course, initials being there, KD. And let me tell you something, it gets real high in detail once you look at this shoe. Right on the bottom portion, you're going to have, of course, the weather pattern. And you're probably saying, Chuck, but that weather pattern is in the form of a foot. Yes, it is. It was said to be the exact specs, like the shoe actually says on the bottom. It says designed and engineered to the exact specifications of Kevin Durant, and it has its signature being on the bottom portion of it too. So far as the design, it is elusive. It is phenomenal. When it came out, it was game changing and different. From the basketball shoes that hold ultimate grip and look great on court and in the streets, this shoe was phenomenal and it was very, very eye catching. The next portion rolling right into it, it's the freaking story. the story of this shoe. And this is one thing that kind of peaked it to a high level for as being a grail to me personally. I like the story of the shoes more than the design because I relate the story back to why they designed it that way. Now we're going to talk about on the bottom portion, the back heel of the shoe itself. Now the back heel is going to have Big Chucky, in which Big Chucky was a mentor to Kevin Durant growing up playing basketball. So you'll have his name being on the back. Now let me get to the other names on the shoes. On the top portion, front toe, you're gonna have right there, you're gonna have Miss Barbara name being on there, and you have almost like a heart portion being in the corner. And Miss Barbara was his grandmother. When Kevin Durant's mom and dad, Wanda, as you know, Kevin Durant's mom to be, was going through a divorce and a split, Kevin Durant was raised by his grandmother for a huge period of his younger life. So this name was put on the shoe also. Right below that, you're going to see Tony Man. Tony Man was the nickname for Kevin Durant's brother, Tony, of course, being on there too. So that was a great additive that was added into the story of the shoe. You're going to have Stay Focused that's going to be right on the inside portion foot of the shoe, on this translucent sole. The people that are in his life, he had on the sole of his shoes. He wore them every day, and he wanted to stay focused and keeping those names in mind. Another thing, on the bottom, you're going to have the thunder signs all along the bottom of the translucent gel sole of the shoe, and those thunder signs are in replication, I would think, of Kevin Durant being at the Oklahoma City Thunder, and with correlation of the weather patterns. Now, if you don't know, Oklahoma is like top 5 in the U.S. For as FEMA disasters, whether it be rain, hail, fire, tornadoes, storms, it doesn't matter. So I think in the replication of the story of this shoe also, it kept that in mind with Oklahoma City, with the disasters that they've been through, a lot of tornadoes, and it went into the portion of Kevin Durant. Also, can you imagine Kevin Durant standing up there, ashy arm, reaching out the suit? He's trying to tell you what's going on in the daily weather. I just can't unsee that. But anyway, Kevin Durant's infatuation with being a weatherman is depicted into the shoe itself. You see the Doppler radar readings all the way through. You even gonna have 35 right there on the top portion of the strap, as a number that will identify as a radius as far as the measurements that you would normally see on the radar itself. It was the scoring leader in 2011 when this shoe, of course, first originated and came out. So as being in the scoring time, he was dropping straight buckets. I mean, just water every time. And he was laying it on in a form of a storm. So I figured that's why you probably had all these ingredients go into this shoe itself. I'll tell you this, the market on this shoe is very confusing to me. Simply because when this first sneaker came out in 2011, the prices were astronomical. But in some reference, most people named it a grail because how hard it was to get. And at that point in time, Kevin Durant was the freaking man at Oklahoma City. And at that point, he already had 2 all-star appearances coming off that. I think right at that point also they were in the conference finals. They lost going into the finals another year after that as they played the Warriors. But he was, I would say, at a huge peak. He was peaking into his career. So he was like one of those loved athletes in the NBA. And a lot of people still love him too. I just wish he would have stayed with Oklahoma rather than freaking going to the Golden State Warriors. But he's a grown man. That's his decision. Basing it back on the grillism, I made that up, of this shoe itself, the market on it is extremely soft, guys. Last time I checked StockX, you'll see the numbers here. Where it was selling before the launch into where it's selling now. And I will tell you this, I don't really think it takes away the status as far as being a grail itself. I think it's still pretty high up on the charts for me, being an OG, seeing what this shoe did when it first came out and the chaos that it actually causes. So on average, you can probably buy this shoe somewhere around $140. I'm really not mad at it. Don't get me wrong. $400 or $500 is extremely lot of money in this market right now. And being able to buy a direct replica of a grill that came out in 2011, cheers to Nike for bringing this back to us, just like they did the Galaxy on the Kevin Durant, which we'll talk about that in another time. But the market on this is extremely soft, which is giving you a firm thumbs up to cop. This is a extreme collectible, a Nike shoe with a story that's behind it. That's what you're going to get out of the Kevin Durant for Weatherman. Until next time, guys, hope you enjoyed the review. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to this channel for more hot details on your sneakers. Peace.